There are two goals for this club. One is ADA implementation throughout the campus and throughout Jacksonville, Florida, and hopefully beyond. So ADA is implemented, but kind of not, in the sense that we have some things that are not really implemented, in the sense of Braille. There's not enough Braille here, and there's not enough places for people with wheelchairs to go around. There's not enough ramps. So hopefully we can see what's going on with that in the campus and then expand it throughout America and hopefully the world. Let's try for that. Another goal is to spread awareness for disability and rights and just disabled people in general. I call this a little secret segregation. It's a selective segregation because when the civil rights movement was going on, you had blacks versus whites, you had African Americans versus Caucasians, in the sense that people who were different races were segregated. And not only that at that time, but you had people of disabilities being segregated with people who were not disabled. And that's kind of what it is still now. We have special schools for people of disabilities, FSDB, it does a good job, but there's a lot of other special schools that don't really need to be there, because the thing is that you have people who are disabled and you have people that are not disabled in their own communities, and they don't get to see each other. So when you are not disabled and you see someone who is walking around or reeling around, you see them and you don't know what to really do. You're just kind of like, they're there, and it's very annoying because people are not educated in that, and then people who are disabled sometimes condemn those who are not for not being educated, which there's no program to educate people who are not disabled on disability. So it's it's just not good. The divide is very polarized, like parties are polarized right now, but it's with disabilities and non-disabled people. And why I started this club, the reason why I started this club, I was 16 years old and younger also, and I was discriminated against for being female, African American, and more importantly, disabled. When I was part of a vision school, I'm not going to say its name, but it's something I did after high school. I would go there on Wednesday nights and sometimes on Saturdays. We had a very interesting field trip, in the sense that we went to the Duval County Courthouse, and that courthouse is beautiful. Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. I wanted to go ever since it opened up, and I decided to wear a suit. I looked like how I do now, except a very younger version of me with bob. Did not like that at all. But we were there, and I was so excited. I was so pumped to meet lawyers, judges, everyone, just to see the court, because I watched Judge Judy, and I was so excited to see a real courtroom. And we were taken to the basement instead. We were taken to the basement, and we were told pretty much all we would amount to as visually impaired people is vending machine operators and business owners of vending machines. Granted, that's a good job for some people, but other people want to do more. Other people like me want to be lawyers or doctors or judges or presidents. You never know. And I'm not going to say a pity, but people, whenever they hear that there's a disabled person there, they're going to have a judgment immediately. And it's selected, and it's not really known that there is a judgment. If I come to you and I introduce myself, you're going to see me as a normal person. But then when I say I'm visually impaired, I immediately get, oh my God, how can you see? Can you see me? How many fingers am I holding up? No. Just no on that whole thing, because my vision or somebody's disability does not impact or correlate to my brain or to who I am as a person, in the sense that when I was younger, and I'm still pretty young and I'm still growing and trying to aspire to do amazing things, people say I do this in spite of my vision. And I created this club and this idea because there's no in spite of. You have people who are not disabled homeless. You have people who are not disabled lazy. You have people who are disabled doing amazing things. There's no correlation. There's no statistical correlation between any of that. And that's kind of what I want this whole spiel to be, because ever since that day at the courthouse, being told and being rebuked for meeting lawyers and judges for trying to do something I wanted to do, I said, no, that's not allowed. I have to do something more. I have to do something bigger than myself, because you can't take someone who's disabled and put them in a box. That limits them. You have people who get genetic tests for their children and hear, oh, they're gonna have a disability, therefore they can't do something. Me, I was tested when I was younger, of course. I have a disorder, and I have a very rare disorder, and it's Peters plus syndrome if you want to look that up. But that disorder, my mom and I did not research until a few months ago. And when I read that research, statistically 16% of the people that have it are normal-minded. I've been tested IQ-wise, I'm above average. You're supposed to be short, that's why I'm short. It affects your entire body. You're supposed to be mentally incapacitated. You cannot work with this disease that I have. My mom didn't know that. So she made me think that I can do whatever I set my mind to. And that's what I love about how I was raised, and that's what I love about the fact that I can now do this huge club, this huge idea. Because when you see someone who's visually impaired or disabled, you take pity on them immediately. You immediately say they can't. What about what they can do? That's something very big that I kind of want to strive with this whole club and this whole idea, because there's no more can'ts. There is a can, because people who are disabled can do a lot more than you think. And one example, my last example is not Helen Keller, sorry. I love Helen Keller, I'm always going to use that reference. But my friend who is blind and deaf, she reminds me of Helen Keller whenever I talk to her. She actually, when I was in, Algebra 2, I think? Yeah, I was in Algebra 2. She was in like 7th grade math, very low, and she's older than me, actually, by 2 years. And I would tutor her in math because I know ASL and thinker spelling and blind and deaf ASL, which is completely different than regular. She was very bright. She understood everything. She got it all. But I asked her interpreters and I asked her people, why doesn't she go up in a higher math? Because no one took the time to pay attention to her. No one took the time to teach her and to tutor her. And that literally breaks my heart every single time I think about that, because the fact is, you have a person, right? We're all people. We all are our own person. Imagine that you woke up every day questioning if you could see or if you could hear or walk that day. People with disabilities deal with that every single day. I do on a personal level. Every single morning I wake up begging that I could see that day enough to go to class or to do my things. People who are not disabled take that for granted a lot. And that's kind of what this whole idea is, to show that you can't take that for granted, because you don't know one day you're going to wake up with no vision or no hearing. What are you going to do? And then you're going to be condemned like every other disabled person and put to the side like every single other person. So just take a look and think as a human. If you felt like that every day, you would want something different for yourself too, right? So therefore, that's what I want. And that's what I think a lot of disabled people and activists want as well. For you to look and think as a human, what do these other humans want me to do? So that's my whole introduction and my spiel, so thank you very much.